Donald Trump's administration actually escalated with both, and that wouldn't have even been able to happen without Barack Obama's policies leading up to it. So I wrote this article, Obama Legacy. This is part 8 of a 10-part series, The War Summation. I wrote this, about almost 6 years ago now. So August 24th, 2016. And I'm just going to read over it because it has, just the nuggets of information I think are necessary. Not everything, but as much as we need, I think, to understand Barack Obama's legacy as president and as the most effective evil of the war machine. So for 8 years, Obama set the world ablaze under a regime of endless warfare. So I said in part 6 and 7 of this series, I explored Obama's investment in war on the African continent and on the undocumented population that resides in the U.S. So again, that's part 6 and 7. But these two areas cannot possibly cover Obama's extensive record of globalized war and chaos. U.S. imperialism's foundation rests upon the largest military apparatus in the world. The system's enduring economic crisis has made war an indispensable tool toward maintaining and expanding U.S. hegemony. A summation of Obama's war legacy provides more than is needed to verify the necessity of endless militarism to the imperialist system in this period of crisis. Obama inherited an economic crisis and 2 full-scale occupations in Iraq and Afghanistan that lacked support from the majority of people in the United States. Not only did Obama fail to end the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, but he managed to expand them as well. The Obama administration sent 30,000 troops to Afghanistan in 2009 and devoted 8,400 of these troops to remain in the war-torn nation beyond 2016. Obama carried out these policies despite announcing in 2015 that he was against, quote-unquote, endless war in Afghanistan. So there you go, the surge. And the surge kept going, and it was only until 2021 when Biden haphazardly and embarrassingly so-called left Afghanistan, but yet the United States is still bombing there, so obviously it hasn't left fully. Obama has taken a different but no less devastating approach in Iraq. The Obama administration announced a formal end to the occupation in 2011. However, the so-called end to the war included the maintenance of 5,000 private security contractors and almost 16,000 State Department civilian employees. Since 2014, the Obama administration has escalated the presence of U.S. Special Forces in Iraq to fight the so-called Islamic State, ISIS. Yet it has been acknowledged by multiple sources that it was the U.S. destruction of Iraq that ultimately led to the rise of ISIS in the first place. The U.S. occupations of Afghanistan and Iraq were visible to the U.S. public mostly because U.S. soldiers died in them. So here's the point. When Obama came into office in 2008, he was almost immediately given a Nobel Peace Prize for his empty promises to end the quote-unquote dumb wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Obama ended up doing no such thing and actually expanded war in the region. Then President Obama mastered the murderous art of drone warfare in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, and surrounding nations to an extent unseen in the Bush era. Unmanned aerial drone warfare killed thousands of people in the region in the name of quote-unquote counterterrorism, including numerous U.S. citizens. I believe, 2 or 3? The Al-Awlaki boy and his dad. President Obama has successfully expanded the theater of war by redefining the rules of international plunder. Obama redefined presidential war powers to ensure that no branch of the U.S. government could challenge the new rules of U.S. war. During the invasion of Libya, Obama announced that the destruction did not count as war since it involved no quote-unquote boots on the ground. Drones, special operations units, and NATO-sponsored destabilization campaigns were quote-unquote humanitarian interventions or counter-terror operations instead. It has been through these avenues that Obama accelerated the growth of the U.S. military state in all regions of the globe. The extent of Obama's use of these new rules on behalf of imperialist war spans far and wide. To provoke China, so Obama provoked China, he led the so-called pivot to Asia as a means to contain the influence of China. This involved the militarization of the Asia-Pacific through military relationships with the Philippines, Taiwan, and Malaysia. A recent report by the RAND Corporation has taken war with China one step further by offering scenarios as to what would happen should the U.S. wage a full-scale military invasion of China in the near future. And that RAND report did not say it would be good, but they were doing it anyway. Obama has additionally intensified the war drive against Russia. In 2014, Obama supported a right-wing coup in Ukraine. Ukraine was then thrown into chaos with pro-independence forces entrenched in a bloody war with EU and NATO-backed paramilitary groups. Obama has also expanded NATO's presence along the Russian border generally. NATO conducted its largest military operation to date in Poland, so this is back in 2016, an exercise that included more than 30,000 troops from the alliance. So Obama was building up. Obama was building up militarily, encircling both Russia and China. This is the beginning. Obama laid the basis for war provocations with Russia and China by threatening to destroy their strategic partners. In Africa, as analyzed in part 6 of this series, Obama militarized virtually every African state as a means to ward off Chinese investment on the continent. In Latin America, the first black president helped worsen global displacement by supporting the violent overthrow of the Zelaya government in Honduras in 2009. Obama then attempted a failed coup in Ecuador in 2010. In 2015, Obama declared Venezuela a threat to national security, and this label brought with it sanctions that further strangled an already fragile Venezuelan economy. So Obama started the sanctions, Trump put them on steroids. With these maneuvers, Obama set out to prove there's no war he didn't favor as long as it was a quote-unquote smart war. This was especially true in Obama's impassioned pursuit of the overthrow of the Libyan and Syrian governments beginning officially in 2011. In both countries, Obama supported genocidal jihadist proxies to achieve full destabilization in both nations. It took air cover and NATO bombs to finish the job in Libya, something that is yet to be achieved in Syria. However, both countries remain in chaos. Hundreds of thousands of Libyans and Syrians have fled the carnage. Now it's millions, especially Syrians. A similar number have died in the name of Obama's war doctrine for the region. As former NATO Secretary General Wesley Clark made clear in 2007, the goal of U.S. foreign policy since 2001 has been the overthrow of sovereign nations in the Middle East and North Africa. The Obama administration has laid waste to 2 countries on that list, Libya and Syria, while keeping others, Somalia and Iran, in a constant state of despair through weapons such as sanctions. 7 nations around the world saw U.S. bombs hit their lands under the Obama administration, and this leaves out the regimes waging wars of their own that Obama has continued to support throughout the duration of his rule. And so I'm going to talk about, 3 paragraphs left, guys, so keep with me. Saudi Arabia and Israel. So I saw someone in the chat, some fellow or person, I don't know who, someone in the chat, maybe it's a troll, saying, oh, stop talking about China all the time. What about Palestine? Well, let's get into Palestine because we know that Israel just laid siege again to Gaza in a lesser extent, but they were fighting so-called an Islamic quote-unquote group. But they killed children. I think they killed 15 people, and I believe more than a half dozen of those were children, if not more. So, indeed, Palestine is very important to me, and I mention it in this article here. Saudi Arabia and Israel have received increased patronage from Obama to wage war on the people of Palestine and Yemen. President Obama is set to strike a deal with Israel that would give the Zionist state its largest military package to date. That happened before he left. Israel already receives $3.1 billion US dollars per year to terrorize and colonize the Palestinian people. That increased to $3.8 billion. As for Saudi Arabia, the Obama-led Pentagon has agreed to give it an extra 1.15 billion USD worth of weapons to finance Saudi Arabia's genocide in Yemen. Tens of thousands of Palestinian Yemeni people have died as a result of U.S. arms sales to the Obama administration's 2 largest allies in the region. And now we know that the catastrophe in Yemen is even worse. I mean, it's the worst humanitarian catastrophe in the world right now, probably. Although Gaza and, the United States is just an absolute criminal empire. So, as I was saying, though, the Obama administration helped fuel those wars. When Obama was elected president in 2008, the U.S. military state was already enormous. 8 years later, Obama expanded the warfare state without protest from the vast majority of the public. The military has allocated 866 billion USD to war-related initiatives under Obama, as compared to 811 billion USD under his predecessor, George W. Bush. Obama set out to end quote-unquote dumb wars, but what he actually did was levy the death toll entirely on the targets of war. U.S. casualties from war have decreased under Obama, despite the fact that over 70% of the world is occupied with U.S. Special Operations Forces. Obama has transformed the theater of war to mainly consist of campaigns waged by drones and proxies under U.S. military guidance. So the ruling class awarded Obama with the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009 as a public relations stunt to boost the symbolic power of his rule. Obama ultimately served the warfare state and its imperialist masters better than any president could. His administration destabilized sovereign countries and sent masses of people all over the world into an early grave without mass protest. This could not be achieved under a Republican Party president. President Obama's legacy as a warfare president and a facilitator of a potential World War III scenario. So guess what? I was talking about this. I've been talking about this for nearly almost a decade, but I've been talking about this especially over the last 6 years. In 2016, I was saying that there was a potential World War III scenario, and 6 years later, people are just coming around to it. So this has large part has been accepted by the U.S. public despite 8 years of dutiful service. This is why Black Agenda Report has labeled Barack Obama the more effective evil of the rulers ruling class, and why his exit from the White House should be a welcome sight for all who seek peace for the planet. So that's the Obama legacy, okay? So, I wanted to read that, not because I love to talk about, how terrible Barack Obama is. But I wanted to talk about this because we can't understand Pelosi's provocative actions. We can't understand anything the United States does right now. We can't understand why the Democratic Party is so invested in an endless war without talking about Barack Obama, because his influence, his ability to change the narrative was incredibly helpful to the empire. Actually, it could be argued that without Barack Obama, we wouldn't have had Trump and we wouldn't have Biden doing what he's doing now. We wouldn't have these massive escalations.